Hello, my name is Andrew Hutchinson, and I'm here with my friend Michael, and we're going to be talking about education reform. Uh, well, I was a part of an English course here recently, and they were asking about education reform, um, or more specifically, how kids were taught. Um, I guess the main constitution was that um, I guess kids were not taught to think. They were taught to memorize and stuff. They really went over standardized testing and stuff. So I guess within this talk, it's like, what is wrong with our education system, and then how can we really change it? Uh, anyways, my friend Michael, take it away. What are you doing right now?
Well, we're looking at the U.S. debt clock, which seemed fitting because it's the immense amount of student debt and national debt. I mean, look at that number. Holy. Anyways, the problems with education and how we could reform them. Um, the what he just mentioned, having said that students are taught to memorize, not really to learn how to think or anything like that. I think that that is a really good point. I always used to find it I'm a tutor now at Western Carolina University in mathematics, and I find often that you memorize equations or you memorize the things that your teachers want you to learn, and then after you've memorized them, you forget them like the day after the exam, and it always seems like a lot of the things that people struggle with in terms of their academic careers is just that, right?
Yeah. Um, I feel like a lot of the time, because I have the same issue. I think we all have the same issue where we
Absolutely,
where we
unless
want
you're
to just, yeah, unless you're trying to get a failed class or something. But I think what really drives it is like the lack of interest in classes. And I think a big problem right now is that we're just not giving kids the courses they want in terms of what they want to learn. Like like in high school, I really wanted to learn stuff about programming and IT, but that wasn't really something you did in high school. You did it in college, and now I'm here in college and I'm learning general education, which is quite boring, but I'm working with it and trying to get up to IT and stuff. Well,
and
what
I
do you
could see
think?
that. I could see that being a motivator is trying to get to the point where you could, and I think that it is an issue that there isn't offered in lower level education to support. Earlier, we were talking about how having a PhD in each one of your um, departments at your high school would make a big difference for students that wanted to know more or wanted
Yep.
to know where they could go to learn more. And that's just not something that's offered. I struggled with it because I'm a math guy, and in high school, in my last 2 years, junior and senior year, I really, really wanted to learn a whole bunch of math. And there was one person I could talk to, and even he very like could only tell me so much. And I used to go around and ask my professors from the past years, like, I know you did this in college, like, tell me about it, please. And they're like, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember how to solve that or what it really meant or anything like that. And they couldn't point me in the right direction. And now I'm in college, and obviously at Western Carolina University, they have wonderful professors, and I've been able to learn what I want to learn. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point
Paid
is that
advertisement.
well, I do pay to go there. Anyways, but besides that point, um, it would have been much easier to get ahead early. And imagine the way that a student could be pushed onward to college by somebody with a PhD if they really saw, like, oh, you know what, you're good for this, you should go to college. Or maybe students who don't want to go to college or who it wouldn't fit very well find an alternative that isn't offered right now in our society.
Alternatives are a big thing. I remember speaking to a couple of people from Europe. Europeans have it really nice in that half of not college kids, half of high school kids over there end up going to a trade school, which is insane because over here, 90% of our high school students end up, well, maybe not 90%. I think the right figure for that, 70% of high school students go on to college. Um, and then I think
Yeah,
on average,
but even what we
30%
were
earn a bachelor's and stuff.
even
But
another thing, like the graduation rate of my college for 4 years is 50%. Isn't that kind of crazy? 50% of the students who get into a state school don't graduate. And I know that I mentioned earlier that after my first semester here as a freshman, my entire residence hall was like a wasteland. It was empty. There was like 300 or 250 people who just downright dropped out and never came back.
I don't
And
think
it's
college is really for everyone, and I just it sucks to see that it's pushed and pressured since a lot of kids just want to take it because they don't want to get a job. Um,
so
I
then
think
like there's no options, right? And
yeah,
if there were options, it would be way, way, way better, way better.
yeah. And what sucks about the options too is that it feels like in high school there isn't much options given, and I feel like I didn't really have time to do enough electives, figure out if maybe there is an area in life that I have a certain passion for, and I've
And
just never found it.
I had to pursue that on my own, and I've always been an
Hmm.
advocate for that, right? Trying to get people to try their interests. Like our friend Wes, he says that he wants to do a lot of different things, and then his extent of knowledge in those fields that he's interested in go as far as YouTube videos or go as far as people who have a degree or working in that field that he talks with. And I don't know that those are good enough examples of proof that you would want to be a part of that. And I've always been an advocate for try things until you learn whether or not you hate it. Which is why I started trying to learn the math and the programming and the languages. Well, whatever it is, right? Like really, really early on, is because if you don't, then you'll never know. And then you'll get to college, waste 2 years doing whatever, have to switch and spend more money, more time. And well, what if the thing you're really interested in isn't even offered at your college? What if it's a trade thing that just your college isn't equipped to handle?
That's
Well,
a pretty big issue I'm thinking about here recently. Is the college I'm about to go to even accredited? Like, is this it's a lot of tough decisions flung at a recently graduated high schooler. Pretty crazy stuff too. To the financial implications of going to
yeah, let's just
college.
look at the debt clock here. Where is it? Seriously, like this is insane. Hold on.
Let's take a look at it. Where is it?
I'm looking for the student debt. It's on here somewhere.
Unfunded debt and interest. It's towards the middle. Um,
No, but there's got to be. There it is. Student loan debt.
Student loan
Oh,
debt,
look at that number.
a billion,
No, it's more than
1.6 billion.
This is thousands. This is 1 trillion. This is 1.6 trillion.
My God, wait, are you right?
So
Thousand,
on
million,
average,
billion,
it is
it's a trillion?
$38,990 per student here in the United States.
That's a
That's
lot,
pretty.
man.
That's pretty insane. I'm glad to say that mine are going to be lower than that number, but
Which, by the way, I wish school would teach maybe more taxes, more financial stuff. I think
yeah,
that's pretty important.
I'm even lobbed in there. Like I've never done taxes before, and this is the first year I'm ever gonna have to do it. I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna figure it out, but the point is like this could be the reason why people like laugh and don't pay the IRS money, and then like I don't know. It
Yeah,
just it's
it's
old
insane stuff.
to not teach people about these fundamental things that they're expected to know to succeed in society.
The whole chart up here, 1.6 trillion, which is a
Yeah,
lot for kids that just don't want to get a job and want to stay at home, and they weren't.
who could be paying significantly less money to work under an apprenticeship, And we have that other issue as well, where because nobody's filling in that job market, we get external people from other countries filling the job market, and that's it's not a bad thing. Obviously, it would propagate growth of the country if every single student who was going to college was graduating with a 4-year degree, but that's just not the case. Even like looking at the state colleges like mine, the graduation rates are half. I mean, that's that's unbelievable, right? So it's no wonder. Is we
I
don't as
feel
a
after
country.
you graduate high school, you should be a pretty employable person, and right now it does not seem like someone who graduates high school is a very employable person. Seems quite the opposite. Like you finish high school, well, now you're like at square one. Like it really feels like Um, I don't know. It feels tough to relate to. Um, just feels like it's you're forced into a degree. Like why would you not be getting a 4 year? Um,
Yeah, and I feel that way as well. But one of the things my dad says a lot is I always worry about what I'm going to be doing after college, right? Like I have a lot of options after I have a 4 year degree, but he always just tells me like, don't worry about it because you'll have that 4 year degree. You can get a job anywhere you wanted to after you have that 4 year degree. Doesn't matter what it's in as long as you're a collegely educated. Which seems preposterous that we expect that of our young people, and I think that it's showing in the U.S. Student loan debt, as well as the graduation rates of state colleges. I think that there need to be more options.
yeah, I think things need to be toned back. I think a lot of curriculum changes can happen, most certainly. I feel I feel like maybe classes should be more split up more. There should be more effort to individualize stuff because everyone's interests are different. Things need to be offered to kids to really teach them early on and let them keep that passion going into adulthood. Um, I think it'll keep people
Or at least
happy.
propagate that passion.
Yeah.
Maybe not force feed it to them, but allow them to make these decisions about what are they interested in early on, and then whether or not they want to continue doing that sort of thing. And there's examples of it even within the education system that I think do it extremely well. One of those things I think is music. The more I think about it, like you think about the Mooresville High School band or any band in high school, is they teach you how to read music. They let you go above and beyond. You go to competitions where you'll play, well, whatever it is. It's but then when you get to college, you have this decision where you're like, okay, well, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to study music theory? A lot of people do, and I don't know. And that's a good propagation of interest. Like when you start in middle school playing an instrument and you carry that all the way through high school because they're actually propagating it for you, and
Oh
then
man.
you continue, right? Like imagine if alongside music courses were offered carpentry courses, introduction to carpentry or something like that, or programming, computer programming, whatever it is that you're interested
A
in.
lot of courses are not offered, which I wish I had a programming course while I was in high school just to follow along with me and keep my passion up, keep like morale up, I guess. Um,
Or at least a PhD in the math department that you could go and talk to about it to learn
yes,
more.
like a good role model, like at school would have done many different things. Um, I don't know. I just feel like nothing's really taken care of in a general sense. It's sad to see. Uh, and I guess it's kind of weird to ask where to start because it's pretty blatant. Or at least I
It
feel like I
is.
don't know. I
I,
just
I think it is too. I think if we paid teachers more, that'd be a really good place to start because then you could start doing stuff like putting more varied courses or having PhDs in each department or whatever it was. Um, Higher quality in general. It's ridiculous how low we pay our teachers.
well, it's getting to be around 15 minutes, which is pretty long. I think I'll cut it here. But yeah, pretty there's a lot of really good points in here. I think is it's pretty nice to get out talk about.
Absolutely.